More Than Skin Deep by Wadzanai Mfunde. Narrated by Wadzanai Mfunde. Chapter 1. Sweet Dreams. Fear gripped his heart as Erin bolted upright, finally awake. The scream came out involuntarily, and it took a moment before he realized that it was his. The sorrow of a bereaved father, with ink-black tears, still haunted him. The dark, shadowy eyes had been a maelstrom of emotions, rage giving into hatred, and laced with the bitterness of heartbreak. It was a dream, and nothing more. Yet there was that unmistakable sense of kinship, as if he had known the man. He had spoken indiscernible words and roared silent screams, a phantom with no voice. It was not long before someone knocked on the door and entered to help him. Erin expected a servant, but instead it was his dearest friend Stefan. The rays of moonlight the dead entered through the drapes illuminated his stark white hair. His blue eyes twinkled with concern, and he ran to Erin's bed to hold him. "Shh! What is the matter?" Stefan asked. Erin was at a loss for words. He shook in Stefan's embrace, a cold sweat passing through him. He attempted to speak, but his words were nonsensical, his breaths sharp and shallow. "You need to breathe. Come on. In. Out." Stefan aided Erin with breathing exercises that had him feeling like a child. Erin could faintly hear the chugging of the train, and he had to remind himself that he was on his way to Stefan's palace in Tekir. When Erin was calmer, he finally spoke. "I had a nightmare. That much I gathered. This is the second time tonight, Erin. Are you sure you are not being plagued by a Mara?" Maras were fae who fed on fear, particularly at night. Erin couldn't be sure of anything, so he didn't want to speculate. "How did you know it was the second time?" Erin asked, diverting the question. "I told David." "To keep it a secret from his prince?" Stefan asked. "Not a particularly well thought out plan, was it?" Erin shrugged his shoulders, embarrassed but hoping to pass for uncaring. "I didn't want you to worry." "You're my brother. Of course I'm going to worry, and rightly so." Erin still liked that word. Brother. Not bound by blood, but rather by oath. The two were inseparable. Well, they had been as children. Now as they were growing into their trades, Stefan, the prince and future emperor, and Erin, a wanderer with no direction, things had changed dramatically. "Good to know that the prickly prince has emotions," Erin said. "Prickly prince? I suppose it is better than what some of the people call me." The people called him a heretic for using the once forbidden Shirut magic, magic born of one's shadow. If Stefan was a heretic, it wasn't using his gods given abilities that made him so, but rather for not believing in the gods at all. "I would still feel better if you would see someone about this," Stefan said. "Perhaps you should see an Ib manipulator, or some sort of healer if it isn't a Mara possession. I don't think that Arten symbol you have outside your room is a particularly good ward against Fae." Erin grasped his sheets. He didn't want to ask this question, but he could see no other way. "Can I borrow your dream catcher?" Erin asked, staring at his hands. He knew how much Stefan relied on the dream catcher. It was a gift from his godfather. "Of course," Stefan said, not even pausing to think about it. "I'll be back in a moment." When Stefan returned, he turned on the lamps and set up the dream catcher. He touched the center with his index finger. Black mist encased the dream catcher and then evaporated. "Okay, it's activated." "You know, your Shirut magic will disrupt the symbol of Arten outside my door," Erin said. "Do you want the dream catcher or not?" Erin bit his lip. "Yes, I'll take the symbol down myself." Having an argument over their religious differences this late would not do. "Thanks." Erin reached his hand towards Stefan's, but the prince flinched before he could touch it. "What's wrong?" "When I held you earlier, I sensed something odd," Stefan admitted. He let the words hang in the air for a moment, until Erin became impatient. "Yes, and what was it?" "I'm not sure what it was. I felt an intrusive presence. Magic, I think. It was all I could do not to knock you unconscious. The fact that he could have threatened Stefan was a shock to Erin. Stefan had power most Targaryen's could only dream of. How could Erin have come close to overstepping Stefan's mental defenses? That is a very strange thing, Erin finally agreed. Don't worry about it. I need to meditate. Stefan stood up and switched the light off. In the pale moonlight, he was but a darkened figure, a true shadow weaver. Sweet dreams.